Hello, my name is Terence Tay, and I'm part of the Alien Skin team that brought you Eye Candy 6. If you've watched the texture filters video, you would have seen this image and how I used the swirl filter to apply a painterly effect to it. The swirl filter is one of many Eye Candy filters that can be used to create painterly effects. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you some of the more prominent ones. Let's use this photograph of a colorful tree as an example. I'm going to show you how to use the swirl filter to create a painterly effect with this photograph. The easiest way is to go to the Settings tab after you've launched the filter and browse through the painterly group of settings. Here are the many interesting looks that you can get. And if you want to customize your effect, go over to the Basic tab and you can change any one of these controls to do that. Let me show you this option called Color Source that switches the swirl filter between creating a texture versus applying a painterly effect to the image. And now I'm going to change the swirl pattern to this option here that says From Image Features. This makes the swirl patterns follow the edges of the image as much as possible, and this makes the resulting painterly effects more recognizable. If you're not familiar with what a control does, hover the mouse over the control and a help message will appear. You can continue to customize your painterly effects by changing these controls. I'll leave that up to you to experiment with. I like the effects the way it is now, so I'll hit OK to apply, and there we have it. The nice thing about Eye Candy is that it works non-destructively by default, so you can return to your original image content and try something else if you wish. And that's what I'm going to do now. I'll go back to the original layer and run the animal fur filter. By default, the animal fur filter creates a texture. You can go to the Settings tab like what we did before and look at the painterly group of settings, but I want to do something different this time. I'll go back to the Pattern tab and under the pattern type, change this to Original Image. And that's how you make the animal fur filter create a painterly effect. I'm going to the Hair tab and turn up the hair length, turn up the wave strength to give it more waviness, and turn down the wave spacing so that there's more waviness in this one image. I like the abstract look, and I'm going to turn up the stiffness control so that the hair stick out in different directions, and then go to the Lighting tab. I'm not keen on the highlights in the hair, so I'll turn the highlight brightness down, and I'll also reduce the shadow strength so that more of the original image shows through. And that's my painterly effect. Now you can also go back to the Pattern tab and hit the random seed a couple of times to try different painterly looks. Alright, now I'll hit OK to apply, and that's the animal fur's painterly effect on this photograph. Let's go on to the final example, and that's to use the reptile skin filter to create a painterly effect. I'm going to launch the reptile skin filter and go over to the Settings tab. And there is the painterly group of settings like before. And you can browse the different painterly effects by going through these settings. Let's try something different and go to the Funky Patterns group of settings and browse these textures to see if we can find something that we like. I think I'm going to pick this round setting and go over to the Basic tab. Under the reptile type, I'll change this to snake so that I get overlapping scales. But I still want round scales, so I'll turn the pointiness down. That's the round scales that we have. And I'm going to change the skin color to this option that says Color from Original. And that turns the reptile skin texture into a painterly effect. I'll reduce the feature size to make the effects more recognizable. And I'm going to make the lighting a little bit more balanced. Now go to the Distortion tab, and I'm going to crank up the distortion because I like to have the variation in the texture. Go over to the Lighting tab and turn down the highlight brightness to balance out the lighting. And I think that looks like a pretty good effect there. So I'm going to apply the texture, and that's the painterly effect created by the reptile skin filter. And that brings us to the end of this video. Let me summarize what we did. We started with this photo of a colorful tree, and I showed you how to use 3 Eye Candy filters to create painterly effects. And they are the swirl filter, the animal fur filter, and the reptile skin filter. There is plenty more that Eye Candy can do. So head over to alienskin.com to look at more Eye Candy examples and videos.